So this is the brand new LG Gram 16, and as you can see here, I'm just wiping it down because it does collect a lot of fingerprints. Since it is a black laptop, this is standard for any black laptop, but the appeal of the Gram lineup has always been its lightness. Last year I reviewed the 17-inch version, but this year I wanted to review the 16-inch version because I feel like it's a happy medium between 14 and 17. The idea of carrying a 2.64-pound laptop with a 16-inch display is crazy. Like if you take the MacBook Air, for example, the M2 MacBook Air, that's 2.7 pounds. This is less than that and you get more screen real estate. Now there's obviously some trade-offs to this. You can't use an aluminum alloy because if you do, the weight gets heavier. So it doesn't feel as premium as a MacBook Air. You're using magnesium alloy instead. The benefit to this though is you get a lighter weight and a more durable laptop. It does look quite cheap because you're pressing on the top of the lid and it flexes in, but it's not gonna break. There's a ton of ports to utilize. Like for example, on the left-hand side, you have an HDMI port, 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, audio jack, and then on the right-hand side, you have your Noble Lock, 2 USB-A ports, and a micro SD card slot. Now I gotta stop right here because I have to thank TELUS for sponsoring this portion of the video, because just the other day I got an alert from TELUS Online Security letting me know that my personal information may have been found on the dark web. This was due to a data exposure hack in January 2018 on patreon.com. Thankfully, it was only my name and email address, but if it was my password, my account could have been hacked and I'd be locked out. This is only one of many threats that can happen while being online, and since it's Cybersecurity Awareness Month, I'm sharing my story so you know what to do if the same thing happens to you. TELUS Online Security helps protect your personal and financial information. Not only is it constantly monitoring the dark web, it provides other services such as a secure VPN, password manager, and monitors your credit history to protect you from identity theft. Plus, with the social media monitoring tool available on some plans, it notifies you of account setting changes, inappropriate content, and more on your linked social accounts. Everything is available inside the app, including the monthly protection reports. So check out TELUS Online Security and stay safer online. It works with Android, iOS, Windows, and Mac. Make sure to click on the link in the description down below and check out TELUS Online Security today. Now, just like the previous LG Gram, you can easily open it up with one hand. This is how far back the display goes, which is pretty standard for most laptops. There's a bit of wobble, a little bit more than I'd like. So hopefully in a future model, they can tighten up the hinges a bit. It's not terrible like I've used other laptops where the thing's going back and forth like a ping pong table, but this could use a little bit of tightness. The keyboard deck is also black. It obviously picks up a lot of fingerprints, as you can see on the glass touchpad. It's a big touchpad. It's nice and symmetrical with the rest of the keyboard. There's a numpad on the right-hand side. I still find the keys to be a bit spaced out. I would love them to be a bit closer. Of course, you have backlighting. The typing experience is fantastic. There's a good amount of actuation force, but the deck of the keyboard is a little bit soft, which I know some might find annoying. Now there's no fingerprint scanner, but there is Windows Hello using the full HD camera. This is an upgrade. The previous camera on last year's model was 720p, so we do have a better webcam right now. And they've also improved the display. It's still 2560 by 1600, so 3x2, so you get that extra vertical space, but they put this anti-glare coating on it so it's less reflective. The previous model did reflect a lot more, and this is definitely a slight upgrade to the display as a whole. Fairly thin bezels, good color accuracy and gamut. Brightness is average. In fact, they did improve it. Last year it was around 300. This year I'm getting about 360. But overall, it's a fantastic display. Now the two bottom firing speakers are okay. They don't get super loud, but they are clear even at max volume, and I would have loved a bit more bass. Now the new addition is the 12th gen Intel processor. It's using an i7 1260p paired with 32 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM, 2 terabytes of NVMe SSD storage, and an Iris Xe graphics chip. The cool thing though is that you could actually buy this unit with an RTX 2050, and I kind of wish LG sent me that because I would have loved to see how that would perform over the integrated GPU, because this Iris Xe graphics chip was good like 3 years ago, but it's really starting to show its age. In terms of overall performance, it's obviously faster than the 11th gen Intel processor that I tested out in the LG Gram 17 last year. Single core clock speeds are very similar, but you get almost double the multi-core speeds with this newer version. But when it came to actual applications, in my Mozilla Firefox compile test, the time difference was noticeable, but it wasn't majorly significant. When it comes to actual creative applications, it performed just as well as the previous 11th gen, at least in Adobe Premiere Pro, but the big improvement came down to Photoshop. I'm finding that anything that's very CPU heavy, you notice the 12th gen processor shine, but when it comes to anything that requires the GPU, it's gonna be the same as last year because it's using the same one. I almost forgot to mention they also sell the LG View, which is an external monitor that you can buy with this laptop. It's an additional 16-inch display, so you get like 32:10 aspect ratio, lots of screen real estate. It's pretty cool, like same color accuracy, same display, so nothing really different, but it just connected with a USB Type-C cable and you get two monitors to work with. The funny thing is when these two things are combined, it only weighs 4.1 pounds, which is lighter than a MacBook Pro 16. Now fan noise is interesting because it never gets louder than 44 decibels, which is really low. This is on high, right? Just whatever you do, don't put it on no fan. It'll be silent, but the performance is awful. It literally makes doing anything tough. Like you load up a web page, you gotta wait a long time. If you load up a program, you gotta wait forever. This laptop or any laptop with a 12th gen i7P processor needs fans. So use low, use normal, use high, just don't ever turn off the fans because you're just not gonna have a good experience. Heat management's good. Again, LG's super conservative with the thermals, so it never gets over 80 degrees Celsius. The downfall to this is that they do reduce the clock speeds quite a bit, so it does nerf performance. Now internally, not a lot is upgradable. The RAM is soldered onto the motherboard. The Wi-Fi 6E card is also soldered on, but you can upgrade the drives. There's 2 slots, and right now I have 2 1TB drives in here that get really good read and write speeds. There's only one fan. I would have loved to see 2, and I'm hoping that the RTX 2050 version has 2 fans, because if it only comes with 1 and 1 copper heat pipe, that might be a problem. The battery is 80 watt hours, and I'm getting about 11 hours and 18 minutes before needing to charge. So here's the thing. This is obviously not the fastest i7 1260p laptop I've tested, but the LG Gram achieves 2 specific things. This is the laptop for the individual who's looking for the lightest laptop possible with the biggest screen. And 2.64 pounds is truly what other 13-inch notebooks weigh, and LG has achieved this in a bigger form factor. Plus, you add the really good battery life and you have yourself a good travel laptop. Now, it's obviously not a 4K editing machine, but it's good enough to edit the odd TikTok or Reels video. And if you combine it with the LG View, you have yourself a portable mobile office. Anyways, that wraps up my review of this guy. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.